Hey everyone, Rob here, and welcome to my channel, Rob's Musical Journey. I'm kind of putting the cart before the horse with this video because I wanted to do a video primarily telling my backstory. I've been a long-time music lover, record collector, CD collector, and audiophile for over 45 years. But because this year is winding down quickly, I realized I was running out of time to do what I really wanted to do for today, and that is give you my list of top 15 best CDs of the year. Now, this is going to be primarily a channel based on CDs, and I will explain all that in a future date at a future video sometime later. But today I want to focus on music and some great music. You know, I talked to several people through the year, and even in the last few years, I've heard from several music lovers and a couple of audiophiles saying they just don't make good music anymore. Good music is just not seen or not heard. Well, I guess you're just not trying hard enough because there's a lot of great music out there. In fact, a lot of it that I've just never heard because I don't have time. But anyway, this was a fantastic year for music. And there were some artists that I just couldn't fit on this. For instance, there was a couple of psych albums that I found were fantastic. I listened to them on YouTube, I listened to them on other sources, but unfortunately they're only available on LP and not CD, so I didn't include them on this list. These 15 that I'm going to share with you today, I have on CD, and I didn't include any that I've heard, but just haven't owned. Now, before we get into the top 15, however, I want to share with you a couple of what I call honorable mentions. And these are good, and keep in mind, all of these that I'm going to mention today are excellent. Every day, I could probably switch the order around these from, best to my least favorite. But it just depends on my mood. It just depends on what I'm really wanting to listen to that particular day. So these are in order, and I'm going to go from 15 up to number 1, my album of the year. But again, before I do that, there's a couple I want to share with you that are honorable mentions. The first one is an artist that's been around for a while. This is Robyn Hitchcock, 1967. And it is Vacations in the Past. Now, I have always loved 1967 when it comes to music. I believe that is one of my very favorite years of singers, songwriters, music, period, from the 1960s. It's known as the Summer of Love for a lot of reasons. The 60s were a very turbulent era. We had assassinations, the Vietnam War. We had race riots, protesting, and a lot of things going on that were very negative. But in the music world, people were trying to combat that with love, with peace, with harmony, togetherness, and 1967 epitomizes that. This CD by Robyn Hitchcock is highlighting songs from 1967, and these are covers that he does of certain songs from that year. And there's some great ones on here. One of my favorites is A Whiter Shade of Pale, Itchy Goo Park, fantastic. And one of my very favorites from the 60s period, San Francisco, Be Sure to Wear Flowers in Your Hair. Scott McKenzie did that originally, fantastic. This whole CD is good, even very good. And it didn't make my top 15 list, but that doesn't mean it didn't need to be mentioned because it does. The only song on here that I think might not work as well is his last song, which is A Day in the Life. Now, that's one of the greatest songs the Beatles ever did. And it's iconic, it's classic, and I just don't know that many other artists could possibly cover that. And it's not that Robyn did a bad job on this, he didn't, but not very many people can pull it off. So that's probably my least favorite track on this. But other than that, this is a very good CD. I highly recommend it and give it a try. Robyn Hitchcock's 1967 vacations in the past. Check it out. All right, another honorable mention before we get into our top 15 is The Last Dinner Party. And it is called Prelude to Ecstasy. This one came out in early summer, very popular on the radio. It's got a couple of really good hits on this. It's a 5-woman band, all female, and it's a very good debut. This is their first CD that they've released, and they've got great vocals on here. The songs are upbeat, positive, catchy, and lyrically quite good. So I had to mention that on this list just because it's great. And even though I couldn't fit it on my top 15, it's still worth mentioning and checking out. So if you haven't heard it, do check it out because it's a good CD. Once again, The Last Dinner Party, Prelude to Ecstasy. Okay, here we go. This is my top 15 of the year. We're going to start at number 15 and work our way up. And keep in mind that on any given day, I could shuffle these around because it just depends on my mood, what I want to listen to, and so on and so forth. So, number 15 on my list is Cage the Elephant, Neon Pill. This is a very melodic CD. It's got catchy hooks. It's fun music. The song-to-song consistency is wonderful. There's really not a bad song on this. But I did want to mention one song on this. Their big hit from this CD is Neon Pill. Their lead singer, and he went through a medical crisis and was given some kind of pharmaceutical drug, and it darn near killed him. And it really put him through living hell, and it made him have hallucinations and all of these negative artifacts. And the song Neon Pill is about that. But anyway, if you like that song, the rest of the CD is very similar. These are upbeat, positive, catchy songs. I am a sucker for melody. That's usually what reels me in first and foremost when it comes to music listening. And this has got that. Full of melody, full of hooks, catchy tunes, fun music. Check it out. Neon Pill by Cage the Elephant. All right, coming in at number 14. This is a favorite artist of mine. I have seen her in concert in Indianapolis back around 1997, 98. And I have probably about as many CDs by this artist as I do anyone else. Who am I talking about? This is Sheryl Crow. And this is her CD, Evolution. Sorry about the glare on that. Try to work with it as best I can. This is her first CD in a while, and honestly, I have not bought a Sheryl Crow CD since Wildflower, and to me, that's the greatest thing she ever did. That's her magnum opus. I don't know that if Sheryl lived to be 120, she would ever release anything any better than that. Is this the best CD that Sheryl Crow has ever done? No. Is it a good CD worthy of listening? Absolutely, it is. This is classic Sheryl Crow. It is great melodies. It has catchy hooks. It's upbeat tunes, and it's really about real issues. Her song, for instance, Evolution, is about AI and how AI is wanting to replace us as humans. But it can never have that one quality that makes us human, which is feelings, which is the ability to feel and care. And that's what this CD is about. That song is about. These are good tunes. There's really not a bad tune on this. I really enjoy it. I don't think anybody else out there, as far as reviewers, has listed it on their best of list, but I believe it is very worthy of that because this is good. And keep in mind, even average Sheryl Crow is head above a lot of stuff that's out there. So check it out. A great CD, Sheryl Crow Evolution. Okay, coming in at number 13. This is a group I had never heard of before. I got this CD not really expecting a whole lot and was really blown away. This is Real Estate, and that's the group's name, and the CD is called Daniel. Now, this is pure pop. Not a lot of rock music on this at all. It is consistent track to track quality. There's not a bad song on this. The whole CD just flows. Every song is upbeat. It is happy, nice lyrics, fun lyrics. It is highly melodic and has some really catchy tunes. You can just listen to this from beginning to end. You don't have to worry about hitting the fast forward button at all. It just flows. And these guys are great at what they do. This is wonderful music. And if you are a lover of straight, middle of the road pop music, but something above, certainly a lot of what's out there, this is a group you need to listen to. So this is, once again, Real Estate. And the title of this CD is Daniel. It's a great one. Check it out. Now, this next one I'm going to cheat on a little bit. You're going to think, Rob, you're nuts. This is 2024. This CD is from 1969. What are you doing putting this on a best of 2024 list? I've got a reason for that. This is Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young live at the Fillmore East in 1969. And what in the world are you thinking that I am thinking about putting this on my best of list? This has not been released for 55 years. This year is the very first year that this CD was released. Believe it or not, this is a live concert. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young were performing at the Fillmore East before they ever did a studio album together. This is one of their very first recordings, but for some reason it sat up on a shelf in the vaults and was never released until 2024. So I said I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to. This is certainly very good and good enough to be put on this list, even though this music is from a completely different era. This is Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young at their very best. There is very playful interaction on stage. You can tell the four guys know each other very well. They have some humor. They share some stories on stage and just have a playful banter back and forth between songs. It is fantastic and really has some of their finest hits on here. They have Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, Blackbird, Helplessly Hoping, Guinevere, Wooden Ships, and Find the Cost of Freedom. A lot of other tunes as well, but this is classic Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. And this is some of their very best stuff. They are great performers. They are great performers live. Really do check this out because this is flying under the radar of a lot of people and kind of got silently released, and not a lot of people are aware of it. But check it out, especially if you're a Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young fan. I think you're really going to enjoy this. Live at the Fillmore East, 1969. Okay, next is number 11 on the list. This is two artists, a band, and it's one of my very favorites. A lot of people are saying, and they're right about this, there's not a lot of pure, unadulterated rock music out there. You hear a lot of things with synth, with keyboards, but not a lot of either acoustic instruments, guitar, drums, bass guitar, and so on. If you're longing for that kind of music, this is your CD. What am I talking about here? Well, this is the Black Keys, and the title of the CD is Ohio Players. These guys are great. They really are. They know how to form beautiful melodies, pop hooks. Their music is filled with more hooks probably than my tackle box has. And if you love straightforward, straight ahead, middle of the road rock and roll music, this is your stuff. This is your band. These guys are wonderful. They are purely acoustic and electric guitars, and man, can they rock it out. Now, my personal favorite by them is their CD Let's Rock from just a few years ago. This one is not as good as that, but it is very good. And any of the CDs I'm mentioning on this list would never have made it here had they not been among my favorites. So do check this out. This is Black Keys, Ohio Players, because they're from Ohio. Check it out. Okay, this next one is an artist that you would know quite well. She's been around for a few years, and she won a Grammy for her debut album back just a few years ago. Who am I talking about? Well, number 10 on our list of best of CDs. This is Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft. Sorry about the glare. Now, I have Billie's first CD. It's fantastic, but it's totally different than this one. Her first CD is very edgy. It's really kind of pushing the envelope. It's about some very uncomfortable situations. Her brother, Linnaeus, did all the recording. He plays the instruments, he does the keyboards. Totally different sound than this one is. In this CD, Billie is evolving as an artist. She is maturing as an artist. Her lyrics are getting much better. Um, as I would liken that one to more progressive rock, more um, alternative rock, this one is more pop. It's got rock elements, but it's more primarily pop. And her songs on here are songs about love, about longing, about life in general. And I listened to an artist on YouTube, on his channel, and he likened this to a masterpiece. Well, I'm not so sure it's a masterpiece, but it is, I think, the best thing that Billie Eilish has ever done. And if you liked her first album, but maybe it was a little heavy for you or a little dark, this one's more upbeat, it's more positive, it's more bright, and again, lyrically, there's better depth to the lyrics on this one here. So do check it out. At this point, I think it's one of Billie's best that she's done so far. Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft. Now, something I meant to mention before this is you heard me say I'm an audiophile, and I'm going to try to mention sound quality on these as well. Every CD that I am mentioning on here has what I call the bare minimum of good sound quality, and there are really two categories that I rank here. Audiophile quality is my bare minimum to have a listening ability to listen to the music where the sound quality does not get in the way of the music. And again, on future videos, I will go into this with more depth. But my second category, which is the highest, and that is demo quality. And this is stunning sound, If you want to invite your friends over to listen to your system and really show it off to great advantage, these are the ones to do that. So I'll try to mention some of these because some of these coming up very much have demo quality. Okay, the next one. This is a band that is actually members of the former Radiohead band back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And this is The Smile, and the CD is called Wall of Eyes. Now, this band, this is actually their first release this year. They actually released 2 CDs. I've not heard their second CD, but I know I really enjoy this one. This comes in at number 9 on my list of best of the year. These guys, if you liked Radiohead back in the day, this is more, let's say, it's more laid back. It's more mellow. It is very atmospheric music. It has elements of Radiohead, but it's more relaxing. And there's really not a bad tune on this. The whole CD flows. It's got great tunes. It's really a combination of rock, progressive, pop, and alternative all mixed in together. But again, I really like it. I think it's as good as anything that Radiohead ever did, and that's quite a compliment. So check this out. This is The Smile, Wall of Eyes. Okay, this is a new artist to me. I had never heard anything by her before. This is coming in at number 8, and this is St. Vincent, All Born Screaming. Sorry about the glare. Okay, St. Vincent, she is a truly gifted artist. I would liken her to performance artists. If anybody out there remembers Laurie Anderson from the 80s, well, St. Vincent maybe is not the performance artist that Laurie Anderson was, but there's certain elements of being a performance artist that she definitely has. This is her. She did virtually everything herself on this album. She wrote the music, she produced the music, she performed the music, and she even played the instruments. It's primarily synth and some keyboards, but she did have the backing of some really high quality musicians on this. And this is a CD that the more I listen to it, the more I appreciate it and the more I enjoy it. It is definitely alternative. It is definitely cutting edge. She's pushing the envelope on here. It is a combination of alternative, industrial rock. There's even a little bit of industrial rock on this, but it works. And she's got a truly beautiful voice. I mean, she is a gifted vocalist. She's got tremendous range. And even though some of the songs don't necessarily highlight that, she's got it. And she's got it in spades. So anyway, check it out. Her name is Annie Clark, by the way. And she is truly a gifted artist. I'm going to have to go back and check out some of her other stuff because I really like this CD. St. Vincent, All Born Screaming. Wonderful, wonderful CD. Okay, this was kind of a surprise this year. This artist hasn't released anything for 25 years and really became popular in the 1980s. So obviously he's been around for quite a while. So coming in at number 7 on our list, this is the Ensoulment. Now, this is amazing music. It is kind of laid back. It is, his vocals are almost whispered, even though they're louder than a whisper, but it's wonderful stuff. He sings about life, he sings about love, he sings about what it's like really to be human in the 21st century. And a lot of really poignant lyrics, great songwriting on here, fabulous music. This is definitely alternative, it's pop, maybe a few rock elements, but it's just a mixture of genres. It is wonderful, wonderful stuff. And if it's a little bit dark at times, but there are more CDs on my list that are darker than this one, certainly. But it's a great one. So I think if you liked his things before, I think you'll need to check this CD out because to me, this is one of the best that he's ever done. So this is the Ensoulment. Okay, this is an artist that's been around for 20 plus years. To me, I think this is the best thing she's ever did. This has been on some other lists out there of YouTubers on their best of, and I can easily see why because it made my list as well. Who am I talking about? Well, this is Beyonce, Cowboy Carter. Now, this is a country tinged album, but don't let that scare you off. This is pure Beyonce. She, as an artist, has the ability to stretch herself, to really go in different directions and pull it off with brilliancy. And this is no different. I would not call this a pure country album. This is definitely soul, rhythm and blues, pop music, and it is melded with some country, but to me, country is not really the big element on here. Now, in between songs, there is dialogue between her and various other people, just talking about snippets of the past and things. Dolly Parton is on there talking about her relationship with Beyonce, and that's a between the tracks kind of a dialogue there. But I got to tell you, this is fantastic, and I'm going to mention sound quality as well. This goes beyond being audiophile quality. This is clearly demo quality. This will give your system a major workout. Deep, powerful bass, huge sound stage, open, airy quality. It just envelops that into the room. The songs are fantastic, and there's one on here, and the problem is, and I gotta say, this is not the first time you're gonna hear this, but other YouTubers have mentioned the fact that for as good an album as this is, there's no lyric sheet, there's no lyrics on the CD, on the back case, there's no listing of anything. There's no listing of producers, there's no listing of anything. And that's kind of a travesty. I like this at number 6 on my list just because the music is that good. But come on, Beyonce. We deserve to have a song list. We deserve to have credits where credits should be given. So anyway, that's the only downside to this. I can't tell you my favorite tracks because there's nothing to look at on here. So anyway, just keep that in mind. And I have a feeling this was one of the early issues. She might have solved that because of the people complaining about that on future releases. So anyway, check it out. But this is fantastic. The best thing that Beyonce has ever done. Cowboy Carter. Okay, we're winding them down. We're at number 5 now on my list. This is an artist I'd never heard of before, but it's a great one. This is Jessica Pratt, and it is Here in the Pitch. I gotta say, listening to this CD took me back to the 1960s. This clearly has a 60s vibe to it, a 60s feel to it. For those of you that remember Petulia Clark, you know, songs like Downtown and Don't Sleep in the Subway. Well, I'm not saying she's exactly like Pat Clark, but take Pat's voice, lower it a little bit, more of a kind of a hushed singing quality, and that is going to be Jessica Pratt. She's got a beautiful voice. Her songs are happy songs. This is pure pop. It is like you're time traveling back to the mid to late 1960s. And groups like the Fifth Dimension, who I've got to say that if I'm down or if I'm having a bad day, I can put on the Fifth Dimension and my goodness, it just makes my day. I mean, it lifts me up. It makes me feel good. It gets me out of the doldrums. This CD does exactly the same thing. It's hard to be down and out listening to this album. I wouldn't call it upbeat. It's not that, but it's just positive. It's happy. It's just fun loving lyrics. And again, I can't help but be reminded of the 1960s, the way her vocal style is. The reverb on her voice is wonderful, and it has that same kind of sound, that same kind of reverb that you might hear on female vocalists from the 1960s. So I think you'll really like this one, and that's why this made it to number 5 on my list. Jessica Pratt, here in the pitch. We're getting close, folks. I know this is a long video, and I'm going to apologize for it, but I tend to get a little long-winded. This right here is an artist that's been around for a long time. She is known from the group Portishead back in the 1990s. And this is Beth Gibbons' Lives Outgrown. Now, this is a fabulous album. It's a perfect album as far as I'm concerned, from beginning to end, song to song consistency. But it's a little dark, it's a little introspective, it's a little moody. It has great lyrics, deep lyrics, powerful lyrics. Beth really delves into some darker territory, and really did an outstanding job on this. I would say that it has elements of Portishead, but then again, it's got a completely different sound to it. This is Beth herself, and she has matured. She's grown as an artist, and it's reflected on this CD. This is fantastic stuff, and on any given day, this could have been number 2 or number 3 on my list, but I really like this. One of my very favorite CDs of the year, Beth Gibbons' Lives Outgrown. Check it out. Okay, we are at the top 3. And I got to say, these last 3 CDs, I can interchange them. Any one of these could be number 1, 2, or 3. On certain days, they may be number 1. But I've got to say that this is an artist that I really enjoyed. She is from the band The XX, if you've heard of them. Who am I talking about? Well, coming in at number 3 on my list, this is Mary Timony, Untame the Tiger. Wow. Double wow. This one really blew me away. This is a perfect CD from beginning to end. Mary Timony, even though her vocal range, let's say, is not like St. Vincent, it suits her music beautifully, perfectly. She, in addition to being a vocalist, she is a fantastic guitar player. Some of her guitar riffs on this CD are nothing less than stunning. It's her playing, her singing along with her playing, along with her songwriting. It doesn't get much better than this. To me, this is as good as anything she's ever done with the XX. And I'm going to be a Mary Timmons fan Mary Timony fan for a long, long time, because I love this CD. Do I have any favorites on here? Well, yes. No, no Thirds and Summer, the first 2 tracks, are fantastic on this. Don't Disappear, fantastic stuff. The Dream, Untame the Tiger, not the only one. I mean, they just flow. Every song is just wonderful. It is very melodic, it is very hook filled. Mary has the gift of melody. And as I told you when I first started this video, I love melody. I'm a sucker for melody. This is filled, it has melody in spades. So wonderful, wonderful stuff. Do check it out. This is Mary Timony, Untame the Tiger. Okay, number 2. This is an artist that has been around a long time. Maybe not quite as long as Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, but pretty close to that same era. Who am I talking about? Well, coming in at number 2 on Rob's Best Of list, this is David Gilmour, Luck and Strange. What can I say? David Gilmour, a former Pink Floyd lead singer, Pink Floyd lead guitarist. His wife wrote all these lyrics. He plays on it all. Even David's daughter sings one of the songs on here, Romney Gilmour. This whole album is as good as anything he ever did with Pink Floyd. I mean, David still got it. You'll recognize the voice. You'll recognize his guitar. I mean, it's that Pink Floyd guitar that you've heard for decades, but it's different. It is introspective. This is a CD about life, life journey, about death, about one's own place in the world, getting older, aging. It's just fantastic. But the thing that really stands out on here is the song his wife wrote for his daughter Romney, Between 2 Points. That song is drop dead gorgeous. I mean, it could easily be my best and favorite song of the year 2024 if it were not for this last artist that hit number 1. And there are some days though I will say it could easily be number 1. It's that good. His daughter also sings another song, Yes, I Have Ghosts. It's on one of the bonus tracks on the CD. The bonus tracks on here are fantastic. And the last one, Luck and Strange, it's a different version on the bonus tracks. This is David Gilmour jamming. And this is like an improvisation of that song. It's fantastic. Talk about he still has it. He really does still have it. This is wonderful stuff. So this could have easily been number 1, and there are some days it might be number 1. But for this final end of the year list, it made it to number 2. Do check it out because it's one of the greatest things that David ever did. And please do check out his daughter, Romney. She is wonderful. Okay, we made it to number 1. This one has been number 1 for me almost since the moment I heard it this year. This is by an artist that won a Grammy back around maybe 3 years ago. I think this album is far better than that one. Again, it shows growth as a songwriter, growth as an artist. Who am I talking about? Well, this is Kasey Musgraves, Deeper Well. Wowzer. This, I can't say enough good things about this CD. It is stunning, and it's stunning in every way. The sound quality is fantastic. Her vocals are so good, so well recorded, it gives you Kasey in the room with you. I mean, she is there. The instrumentation is fantastic. Her singing, she's got a lovely voice. The lyrics they have great depth to them. Extremely well written songs, heartfelt songs about love, about life, about heartbreak, joy, just about living, just about life in general. And the song Cardinal, certainly a song about loss and about the kind of the folk tale that we all have heard about when a cardinal shows up on your lawn or in a tree near you, it's a loved one revisiting you, saying hello. Well, Kasey wrote that song in honor of John Cale's passing. John Cale was a member of the Velvet Underground way back in the 60s and 70s, and he just passed not too long ago. And you can adapt that for yourself. If you've ever lost anyone in your life, if you've ever had a heartfelt loss of a friend, of a loved one, of a family member, that song will tear your heart out. I love it. I mean, from the first time I heard it, it was fantastic. If you like that song, you're going to love this CD because the rest of the songs are right up there with it. The song quality, the song-to-song consistency is absolutely stunning. This, as far as I'm concerned, is Kasey Musgraves' magnum opus. I'm sure she's going to be around for a lot longer, but will she ever do another CD as good as this one? Stay tuned. We'll see. But it's going to be a tough challenge for sure. Anyway, Rob's number one of the year, best CD that I've heard in 2024, Kasey Musgraves' Deeper Well. Fantastic. All right, folks, I apologize this video has gone so long. I do tend to get a little long-winded when I'm talking about things. I apologize for that. Thank you so much for those of you that are still with me at this point in this long video. I do appreciate that. Happy New Year in just a few short days. Please do me a favor, because this is a new channel on YouTube. Please do hit the like and subscribe button. It will help my channel. It will help me, because I do want to do future videos about music, about my taste in music, about my journey throughout the audiophile community. So thank you, everyone, for listening and tuning in, and I will see you next time.